What's up everybody, Psychotixz here again. I haven't made a video in a while, mostly just been playing on DN and stuff. But this format, the July format, I'm running mostly Karakuris. What's good about this deck is its OTK potential as well. I like to kind of run it semi-OTK, well, more like where it can stun too if it needs to, via Naturia Beast or Barkion if that's your cup of tea. Let's get into this. We got 2 Merchant. He searches any tuner in your deck essentially, or any Karakuri. You mainly go for Nanishi, which you run 3 of. This grants you an additional normal summon for a Karakuri. Usually a good combo for this is you have this, you normal summon another one, usually level 4, and then you can use Instant Fusion or like Solar Windjammer to create like a Burrito, and that Burrito nets you another Karakuri, so you can go into another Beret or another Burrito, and depending on what you have, you can basically have at least 3 big synchros right there. 2 Strategist, oops, sorry about that. 2 Strategist. Strategist, his effect is when he's normal summoned or summoned in general, you switch a monster's battle position. This is good for getting the Burrito effect to draw, or to draw, as well as putting some kind of monster in defense mode. I like using this effect on maybe some Lightsworns if I know, like, I mean, you can never be like too cautious of that, honest, so you can usually just attack over it with some weak monster, and you can OTK with your synchros like Burrito and Beret, and they'll never even get honest off. 1 Saizon, because he's less prevalent in this deck than the Girgia Karakuri variant. I actually prefer this variant just because it's kind of faster, I guess, and it can be a little bit more consistent. The only disadvantage is it's not as much of a stun deck. This is more of an OTK deck, but like I said, you can run this deck any way you want, for the most part. You can use Psychotixz if you want, but I like this variant since you kind of don't need as many cards to go off. 1 Sazank. He's kind of an underrated card. He's kind of like a pseudo fire ice hand, or he's more like a black ship corn when he's flipped, and that's really nice. No one really expects this thing. Hardly anyone knows what this guy does, but he's really good. 2 of the Soldier. He is your Shining Angel for Karakuris. He summons 1 from the deck. Just good if you don't have any, if you have like a bunch of crap in your hand, or you don't open up with any tuners. You just set him and then you get what you need, and hopefully in those next turns, or by that time, of course, you'll have a Solar Windjammer or something in your hand, or Instant Fusion, so you can just go off from there. 2 Quick. He's usually the last thing you summon from the synchros, because he'll basically net you another synchro, since when he destroys a monster by battle, you special summon a Karakuri from your graveyard. Another thing is, how should I say this? Most of the Karakuris, if you don't already know, have like some kind of effect where if they're attacked, they switch their battle position, and that's mostly like the gimmick to their archetype, I guess you'd say. I guess I should go over that. Most of these, Nanishi, her battle position changed, so usually summon her in attack mode. When she's attacked, I think he stays only, or he goes to defense only when he's in attack, so his battle position doesn't completely change. This one changes, so usually you want to summon him in defense. Unless you have well, assuming you have some way to switch his battle position. And we have 2 Solar Windjammers. It's really good when you have this in a Nanishi and another Karakuri, because this grants you a Burrito and any synchro you want. And it doesn't cost any life points, and it's better than Cyber Dragon. 1 Redox, because all the monsters in our deck are Earth minus the Solar Windjammer. Or, yeah, he's just a machine. but Solar Windjammer is your only non-Earth monster. So you mainly use him for his reborn effect, actually, rather than his special summon, but he is a good tank at 3,000 defense if you have nothing else to do, or if there's just, for some reason you enter the grind game. 2 Max Cs to speed up the deck. This deck's hardest matchup is probably Hat, so that's a good deck to use this, or to main deck this in, and also Lightsworn's also another deck, but it's basically whoever gets a faster first turn. Usually this turn can win, or this deck can win in the second turn if they don't have anything in response. 3 Instant Fusion. We only run 2 targets in the extra deck, but we run 3 Instant Fusion, so we have a better chance of just drawing it. And we got 2 Machine Dupes. Use this for Nishi or Strategist. You could also use this on Solar Windjammer if you really need to. But with this and a Nishi equals, it's basically just game over. Hardly ever draw into it, to be honest, but man, you just gotta run it at 2. 2 Solar or Soul Charge. This deck's Synchro Summon deck, so, and combo based deck, so of course Soul Charge is gonna be really good in this deck, and it is really good in this deck. It's so nasty when they think they like beat your field, and next turn you just Soul Charge. They try so hard to get over everything, and then you Soul Charge, get it all back, and you use all your draw power to just net you more advantage. 1 Iron Call. It's like a pseudo Soul Charge or a mini Soul Charge. There's no drawback, minus you just have to have another monster on your field. So yeah, this is kind of like I guess not many people expect this. Maybe like a Hat player will see that you have a tuner and a non-tuner, and he'll probably blow up your tuner, just Iron Call it back. And then Black Rose or something, you'll probably get really pissed. For now, we got 2 MSTs. 3's a little much, I think, especially with all the hats running around. Yeah, just hit whatever you think you need to hit. Mostly for face-up cards. Maybe some vanities. Hit something else. 1 Book, because Book's really good still, or it's always been good. I'm running Dark Hole in this deck, just in case you need to clear up the field before you OTK, or your opponent has some kind of advantage over you in terms of field presence. To speed it up a bit, we're running 3 Reckless Greed. As a Dark Hole player, I feel like Reckless Greed is a good card to use in this deck. It's only good in so many decks. I think Mermail run this well, Dark World of course, and this is one of the decks that also runs it well, just because you need to get to your combo pieces quick. And I do not run Upstart in this deck because I want to put as much damage out as possible, and I don't want my opponent getting free Soul Charge pluses or Skill Drain pluses. 2 traps done. This is our out to all their traps mainly. You can switch these, or if you prefer, you can switch these out for Wiretap, but I just like traps done in this deck better. And then we just have mainly our staples: Compulse, Bottomless, Solemn, and 2 Fiendish Chains. I like Fiendish Chain right now, or especially in this deck, just because you can protect your tuner for a turn with Fiendish Chain. So, and for the extra deck, we have 2 Bikes, 2 Paracycloids. His level is 5, and he's an Earth, so that's pretty fucking good on its own. You can play Cybersaurs too. I just like these because he looks kind of derpy, and he's super rare and he's shiny. 1 Gnat Beast. This card wins games on his own if you can get the right setup. Usually, if I'm going first and I know I can go off, instead of summoning like a bunch of Burritos or something and a Beret, I'll usually just summon a Burrito, and if possible another one, and then or a Stardust, and just have this thing, and it's basically GG. They can't get over it. One Black Rose, because you can summon Black Rose pretty easily. It's just as easy as going into Beret. Excuse me. 3 Beret. You can run 2 if you want. Or you can get away with running 2. I actually run 2 if I'm running a Big Eye and a Draco Sack. So you can cut 1 if you're running one of those, or both. But yeah, you can really take advantage of his battle position effect, and I think it's universally just a good effect. And then we got 3 Burritos. He's way easier, or in my opinion, way easier to go into. And his draw effect is obviously good. So yeah, it's 2800 beater. 1 Crimson Blader for Hat, Dragons, Lightsworn, Mermail, just all these decks that are summoning monsters or synchro summoning, or just like even the mirror match or something stupid like that. Crimson Blader is just overall a really good card right now. Stardust Dragon, because if you have Burrito, Stardust, and another synchro, you basically win. 1 Leo, because it's easy to go into. You can just beret with a level 3 tuner like Anishi or Strategist, and or Redox. That's an easy one too. And he's really nasty when you soul charge him back. And to finish off, we have 2 XCs. You have to run the Felgrand. Let's say you go into Burrito, you can't OTK him. Usually it's your main goal is to put in a lot of damage, enough so they can't even soul charge or JD or whatever, and then you can just go on Felgrand with your 2 Burritos and basically secure your victory. I think that's more of a consistent way than winning than actually OTKing. Obviously you can't OTK, but that's what I like doing. I'd rather not go all in and lose all my resources, rather keep like 3 or 4 cards in hand, plus the ones I draw, and then I still end up winning so easily. And Gimmick Puppet Grinder just because he's good. Like I said earlier, you can switch out the 1 Beret and a Grinder for a Draco Sack and a Big Eye. I don't actually own those, but I do borrow them sometimes. But I would recommend a Draco Sack because he's easy to go into with Berets. Yeah. And I'm going to show you the side deck real quick because I think it's actually... Oh, can't forget. I got 4 tokens. They're all Dragon Ball Z. Pretty cool. The side deck, I believe this is the full 15. But I don't know. I think it's a really good side deck for right now. And why this side deck essentially makes Karakuri a very scary deck right now. Just the last MST, so that's the 3rd target. 1 D-Fissure for any Graveyard Line decks. 2 Xyz Encore. You can side this, or you're supposed to side this against Evil Swarm.deck or Ophion.deck. But, I don't know, it's like a pretty good card against something like Medolce, I guess. Constellars, but we'll get into that later. Macro, side in Macro and D-Fissure as always, but take out the Maxi. 2 Blackhorn Heavens. You can also, or this is basically always going in every game. You can use this against Light Swarm, Constellars, Evil Swarm, basically anything, so I don't think there's a deck that doesn't have some kind of inherent special summon. By the way, if anybody's interested in Ultimate Rare Blackhorn Heaven, I kind of want to get rid of it or downgrade because this is expensive, this isn't as expensive. 2 Royal Decrees. This is kind of a win condition for all those nasty decks like Hat or even Evil Swarm. But I would actually use this. I wouldn't side this versus Evil Swarm because you kind of need your traps too. But I guess it mainly just depends. This is just like, just shuts down so many decks. especially when a lot of people are running, or they don't expect an MST in the main or something. Even though this is side deck, I don't run any or that many traps myself, and if I do draw into them, that's probably just a bad hand. I usually draw like 1 or 2, so 2 Royal Prison. This is actually one of my favorite cards to use against like a lot of graveyard line decks, mostly dragons. Lightsworns is a good one because it makes Lumina basically trash. It makes their dragon rulers crappy. Doesn't stop Judgment Dragon, but it just basically stops so many decks. It stops Hat from summoning Myrmelio, and from getting Ignition off and stuff like that. It doesn't stop Sanctum, but that's why we have 2 Light Imprisoning Mirrors. There's a lot of pesky shit running around. That's light-based, Bujin, Twilights, or Lightsworns. And finally, the best card probably is Rivalry. You can basically side this in against every deck. Dragons can't handle it very well unless they have their Skill Drain Blaster or something. But you know you're going to side in 3 MSTs against those anyway. But this is just honestly really good. Everything in your deck, or all the big beaters in your deck, are mainly machines, so just Barredo, Beret. Like, how do you get over that? You know, like Torrential, no thanks. Can't even summon like any XCs. No Exciton Knight. No anything. Alright, well, that rounds it up for today, guys. Please like and subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Let me know what you think I should like, or any like requests or anything for a deck profile. I have a few decks on DN if you guys are interested. Yeah, so that'll be it, and I'm out.